Saw your picture on a poster in a cafe out in Phoenix. Guess you're still the sweetheart of the rodeo. As for me and little Casey, we still make the circuit in a one-horse trailer and a mobile home. And she still asks about you all the time. And I guess we never even cross your mind. But oh, sometimes I think about you and the way you used to ride out in your rhinestones and your sequins, with the sunlight on your hair. And oh, the crowd will always love you. But as for me, I've come to know everything that glitters is not gold. Well, old Red, he's getting older, and last Saturday he stumbled. But you know I just can't bear to let him go. Little Casey, she's still growing, and she started asking questions. And there's certain things a man just doesn't know. Her birthday came and you never even called. I guess we never crossed your mind at all. But then sometimes I think about you and the way you used to ride out in your rhinestones and your sequins, with the sunlight on your hair. And oh, the crowd will always love you. But as for me, I've come to know everything that glitters is not gold. Everybody said you'd make it big someday, and I guess that we were only in your way. But someday I'm sure you're gonna know the cause. Cause for everything you win, there's something lost. But oh, sometimes I think about you and the way you used to ride out in your rhinestones and your sequins, with the sunlight on your hair. And oh, the crowd will always love you. But as for me, I've come to know everything that glitters is not gold. Oh, everything that glitters is not gold. Saw your picture on a poster in a cafe out in Phoenix. Guess you're still the sweetheart of the rodeo. As for me and little Casey, we still make the circuit in a one-horse trailer and a mobile home. And she still still ask about you all the time. And I guess we never even crossed your mind. But oh, sometimes I think about you and the way you used to ride out in your rhinestones and your sequins, with the sunlight on your hair. And oh, the crowd will always love you. But as for me, I've come to know everything that glitters is not gold. Well, old Red, he's getting older, and last Saturday he stumbled. But you know I just can't bear to let him go.
All right, it's 1 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get started. As you know, the midterm will be next Monday. It will be at the same time as regular class. It will be 4 of these type, either these questions or questions a lot like them. Be 4 of them. You'll have no more than 1 hour to complete it. You'll start. It'll be released exactly at 1. It'll be collected exactly at 2, unless, and if you're late, there will be a late penalty, but it will be open to 3 if you want a late penalty. So that's the basics of that. I wanted to make sure, are there any questions about the midterm that you have right now before we start our exam review? Are there any questions? I'll go ahead and put Minty Leak in the chat. In case you have any questions, I'll give y'all just a minute to get some questions to me if you have any. Otherwise, we can start the review in just a minute. Somebody's asking, can it be multiple choice? As you might imagine, since there's only 4 questions, none of them will be multiple choice. They will be questions where you have to do something or upload something or answer something long form. You know, there won't be any multiple choice. I'm sorry. Somebody's asking, is it in Canvas? No, it is in Gradescope. It is in Gradescope. It will be released right at 1 p.m. on Monday in Gradescope. Gradescope, Gradescope, Gradescope. Great question. Somebody's asking, could you define late penalty? No, I'm not going to predefine late penalty. It's up to you if you want to take it or not. The late penalty will, yeah, I can't say anything more about that. I'm not going to define the late penalty. I guess I can tell you it won't be more than 25 points. It won't be more than 25 points, but it will be significant. So the late penalty won't be more than 25 points, but it will be significant. Somebody's asking, what is the late penalty? I'll tell you again, the late penalty won't be more than 25 points, but it will be significant. So it could be up to 25 points. Depends on kind of the curve of the class, of course. Somebody's asking, have you gotten to the TikToks yet? No, I haven't, but I will. Don't you worry. That's kind of, I want to do that at the same time that I grade the exams. You know, grading the exams is something we take very seriously because exams are, you know, a part of the major part of the grade. So I will verify those as best I can, kind of in the exam grading process. If you think you have 5K views, that's great. You know, as long as you haven't cheated somehow by like buying views from the Russians, you will be okay. If you have bought views from the Russians, then you will not be okay. So, or whoever you want to buy views from. So I'm going to look into that, and that will be part of the midterm grading process. Remember, everybody still has to take the midterm, even if you have the 5K, so you still have to take it. But if you have the 5K, you get an automatic A if it's verified that you didn't cheat in some way. Somebody's asking, how hard is it going to be, like, for real? So this is a great question. It is not designed to be hard. What it is designed to be is something that if you have been paying attention to class, coming to class, doing the Friday coding, turning in your projects, not just relying on your classmates to turn them in for you, I think you should think this is, I don't want to say easy, but kind of easy. For those of you that haven't been doing your own projects and haven't been coming on Friday, yeah, it's going to be, I don't know, maybe impossible depending on your background. So it's really up to you. If you've been coming to Friday things and you didn't know the basics of coding, you'll be totally fine. If you haven't, good luck. So I hope you've been coming to class, or at least watching after. I recommend that you come to class. So if you've been coming to class and paying attention, I do not think it's going to be hard. Somebody asked, did you figure out what Shadow 64 was talking about in the chat? No, I did not. And honestly, I don't know if Shadow 64 is in this class or whether that was just a random person, but that was crazy. I don't know who that was. So Shadow 64 is really a person in this class. We'd love to hear what the story is, but yeah, I don't know what's going on there. That's weird. Part of having class on YouTube Live, huh? All right, good. So these things will be asked, I agree, 5 more times anyway. When's the exam? The exam is next Monday at 1 p.m. Next Monday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Where is the exam? The exam will be in your location, in a private location of your choosing. It cannot be at like a public library. Well, I mean, it can be at a public library, but you cannot be at a location where there are other students in this class. You have to not be near people in this class. It's not going to really help you to be together anyway. But because you're going to have to do your own thing. But you just have to be in a private location, not getting help from anybody, and it is open book. Will be open book, absolutely. You can use whatever book and whatever website you want to. You just can't talk to live people, and nobody can touch your computer. You can't talk to live people. Somebody's asking, is it curved? Yes, it will probably be curved depending on how badly y'all do. But I don't know. We'll have to see. I guess it probably won't be curved because I think I think y'all are going to do great on it, but we'll have to see. So on the curved, I don't know yet. Somebody asked, I bought views from the Taiwanese. Is that okay? No, buying views of any kind is not okay for TikTok. Don't do that. That's lame. Anyway. Somebody's asking, what was the last semester's midterm grade average? Ooh, good question. Honestly, don't know. I want to say it was probably like average like 85. Something like that. Somebody's asking, what happens if something external happens, like Xfig starts to bug during the test? Yeah, so you don't want that to happen for sure. Xfig doesn't have a mind of its own and start doing crazy things during the test. It is a deterministic program. I know because I've used it. Now, what I would do if I were you to minimize problems with things like Xfig or Android or whatever is practice. Today and one other day this week, practice doing the things that we talk about and make sure that they are working on your computer. If they're working today and sometime later this week on your computer, a really good chance they're going to also be working next Monday when you have to take the test, okay? And somebody else is asking in the chat, what if I crack under the pressure? Look, this midterm is not meant to be a high pressure situation. This is meant to be something that is like similar to what you should have been doing and learning if you were doing the projects and participation in class just like you were supposed to be doing. So this midterm is not designed this midterm is not designed to really stress people out. It's just meant to check who has a clue what's going on and who does not. I have to separate people that have a clue from the people that do not, and there are definitely both types of you out there, unfortunately. I would love it if y'all all had a clue at this point in the semester, but some of you don't. And so I have to separate y'all in terms of grades, and that's what this exam is about. If you have a clue, you're going to be totally fine. If you don't have a clue, you're not going to do great, and you're going to need to get a clue before the final exam if you want to pass this class. Somebody's asking, how are you? Get that cough checked out yet? I have in the past gotten that cough checked out extensively. It is a hereditary cough. I cough just like my dad all the time. It has nothing to do with COVID or allergies or anything. Who knows what it is, but both me and my dad do it all the time, and we've been to a bajillion doctors and nobody knows what it is. So, sorry. I try not to cough too much during class, but that's the way it is. All right. So many clues. I'm the Riddler. Resting comment, but not a question. Any more questions before I move on to getting y'all to do a few practice questions? All right, seems like no further questions. So I want to go back here and I want to show you. I want to show you that I really mean that all questions are coming from this. So we're going to practice a few questions that are like derived from this list of questions. For instance, your first task today, we're going to do 2 or 3 of them, and y'all are going to upload your answers on Slack so that I can see and comment on them. What I want you to do first is I want you to record a 30-second or less, probably just a few seconds long video. And I want the video to include this. I want the video to include a version of Xfig that does not compile. And I want you to achieve that Xfig not compiling by just going into a source file and putting some nonsense in there. So make it not compile by editing one source file. Show me the make-j install fails. Show me that. And then, fix the source file. And then show me that once you fix the source file, when you do make-j install, that it passes. So I want a short video of a compilation error in Xfig, you fixing that error, and then a compilation, where it passes. Short video of these, 3 events. Are there any questions on that in the chat? Let me know if that's not clear. Otherwise, I'm going to give y'all just a couple minutes to upload it to Slack. I'll be playing some music. All right, anybody got any questions on what I'm asking you to do? Compile, change a source file in Xfig, create an error, show me that Xfig doesn't compile in the video, and then fix it, show me that it does compile, and upload that video in MP4 format to Slack. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'm waiting for your answers right here in Slack. So there's a question, video of it not compiling, video of it compiling, and what else? The what else is you just fixing the compilation error, editing the source file, basically, to fix it. All right, I'm going to give you maybe a couple songs to go ahead and get that done. I'll be watching the chat, though. Let me know if you have any problems.
At least 5 days a week and sometimes more, I'm up with the sun and headed out the door. Most nights I don't get home till later night. Well, I make a living any way I can. Everywhere I turn, I my answer to a man who only cares about the bottom line. Well, I've heard the old folks say you'll never work a day if you like what you do. And I'd say it's probably true that the only way to find the path of peace of mind is to follow your heart right from the start. But it's never been as easy as it seems, 'cause it's hard to get ahead when you're chasing someone else's dreams. I know that there's a lot of folks like me who aren't looking for a handout or an ounce of sympathy, just a way to get a piece of the pie. 'Cause the game has changed for the common man. It takes credit cards and IOUs, more installment plans, spending every minute trying to get by. Well, I've heard the old folks say you'll never work a day if you like what you do. And I'd say it's probably true that the only way to find the path of peace of mind is to follow your heart right from the start. But it's never been as easy as it seems, 'cause it's hard to get ahead when you're chasing someone else's dreams. It's not because I'm lazy, out of touch, or going crazy. I'm barely breaking even, and I need a thing or two I can believe in. Well, I've heard the old folks say you'll never work a day if you like what you do. And I'd say it's probably true that the only way to find the path of peace of mind is to follow your heart right from the start. But it's never been as easy as it seems, 'cause it's hard to get ahead when you're chasing someone else's dreams. Oh, it's so hard to get ahead when you're chasing someone else's dreams.
All right, so far I don't see but maybe one up on Slack. Do y'all need another song's worth to do this? It seems like yes. Let me know in the chat of YouTube if you need more time. Do y'all need more time? Let me know in the chat of YouTube if you need more time. All right, I'll give y'all just one more song's worth, and we will move on. Just a short song. Let me find a short. Here we go.
Well, the dawn is breaking on weekday, so I best get up and be on my way. Grab my hat, put on my shoes, but I got me a case of them Monday blues. Them Monday blues, them Monday blues. Got me a case of them Monday blues. Before I finally lose these Monday blues, them Monday blues. Got me a case of them Monday blues. Saturday's never long enough. It's over just when I'm warming up. Lord, here I go again with those Monday blues. Them Monday blues got me a case of them Monday blues. Them Monday blues, them Monday blues got me a case of them Monday blues.
All right, I found one that is correct, and I will show to y'all. If you're still doing it, feel free to continue doing it. I'm just going to show one that is successful and talk you through it real quick. Here we go. Mr. Who did this? Tony did this correctly. Let's check it out. Here is what I was looking for. Pressing play. You can see that he does make-j install, and you see some errors in the compilation process. You can see he changed. Oh, he did that a little fast, so I'm going to show you that again. Here you can see he added an error right here, and then when I press play, he's going to delete it, and then he is going to save it and go ahead and make-j install again, and what do you know? Everything works like a charm. So he has compiled it. There it is. It's finished. He's compiled it with the error, and then he's fixed that error, and then he showed that he can compile it again without that. All right. Are there any questions on this? Are there any questions on this? I guess I'll flip back to here. Any questions on that one we just did? Let me know. I'll make sure you have that link in Menti. Any questions? Otherwise, we'll go on to another one. You can see that these aren't going to be necessarily that hard. You just need to practice and get good at them so that you aren't struggling to do this kind of stuff on the exam day. You need to be good at them, not just know how to do them. You need to be good and not quick, but just competent, at them. Do them at a medium pace. Okay, I don't see any questions. Oh, somebody's asking, will this be the same level of difficulty? Well, wouldn't you like to know? These, practice things are designed to be about the same level of difficulty, but of course, I don't know what y'all think is difficult compared to easy, as well as you would. So they are designed to be about the same level of difficulty, maybe slightly harder for the actual exam. This is a bit of a warm-up. But approximately the same level. Somebody's asking, will the midterm be something like that, or will we have to change specific feature in Xfig? Remember, Xfig, as we know, is somewhat complicated. So you wouldn't have to do anything intense on Xfig. But you may have to do some kind of superficial changes or lightweight changes, something that you could do in like 5 minutes or less if you've been paying attention. Somebody's asking, so does the late penalty correlate to how late we turn it in, or is it just one late penalty? So the late penalty, we will look at how late, right? If you turn it in 1 minute late, If you turn it in 30 minutes late, that's a major advantage over other people, and that would be considered, late. But we're not going to look at that unless we have, we're not going to look at that intensely unless we have a bunch of people late. So I would just encourage you not to be late. But if you're late, the less late you are, the better. And it can only be, I think, an hour late, right? That's the biggest it could be, is an hour late. After that, you just can't submit at all. So it can only be up to an hour late. All right, so now let's look at another one. Somebody's saying they want the practice to be harder than the exam. So let's go for that. I want you now to upload a video of the following. I want you to find a project on GitHub, fork it into your own, in your own account, clone it to your computer, and compile it and show it running to me. So, just so you know, I want you to clone a project. Well, I want you to fork a project from GitHub, clone it to your computer, compile it, and run it, and show the video of it running, and also show me like that it is on your computer, meaning like in a repository on your computer. I want to give you some hints on this because this is not easy. Well, I mean, it's not necessarily that hard, but it's not that easy. You're going to want to find like small apps or apps that can compile, let's say, an Android Studio or whatever IDE you have on your computer, or things that you can, compile, things that you are comfortable compiling. I am not telling you what project. That is part of the game here. So clone any repository to your computer, except for your class project. It cannot be your class project. Show me it compiling and running, and show me that it does exist, on your computer. Like show me the folder or something, or the fact that you've downloaded it with Git or something. So show a short video of it compiling, running, and then where the code's at. Any project on GitHub. Okay? This is probably going to take you a couple songs because you have to find your own project on GitHub that you think you can get to compile. It can be any language. Can be any language. You just have to find one, clone it, run it, and show me all that. Upload that. All right, and give y'all probably a song to get started, and then we'll discuss how far along you are. Let me know if you have questions. I guess I'll open it to this page in case you have questions. You can do it right here on Menti or even in the chat. I'm gonna be watching both. Go.
Saw your picture on a poster in a cafe out in Phoenix. Guess you're still the sweetheart of the rodeo.
There's a question, could it be a program we've written? Yes. There's a question, can it be a Java project? Yes. There's a question, can it be a Python project? Yes.
As for me and little Casey, we still make the circuit in a one-horse trailer and a mobile home. And she still asks about you all the time, and I guess we never even cross your mind. But oh, sometimes I think about you and the way you used to ride out in your rhinestones and your sequins, with the sunlight on your hair, and oh, the crowd will always love you. But as for me, I've come to know everything that glitters is not gold. Well, old Red, he's getting older, and last Saturday he stumbled, but you know I just can't bear to let him go.
All right, and one thing that people are running into, some people are uploading a video, but it takes a significant amount of time to upload, like 5 minutes. So if it's taking you 5 minutes to upload your video, either you have a really, really, really bad internet connection, which I kind of think is probably not the case because it would have to be really bad, or alternatively, you could be taking a really high quality video, which is unnecessary. So I would make sure that your video, like the number of pixels in your video, is lowered down, and the number of frames per second is lowered down. Just make it a lower quality video and it won't be so big. Great question. Somebody's asking, can we use Replit for this one? No, you cannot use Replit for this. No, you cannot use Replit for this. Somebody's saying, I'm really confused on what type of program to fork. Could you give some simple examples? I will look into doing that. That's a great question. But, you know, on a test, I would obviously not be doing that. So I'll look, see if I can find one.
Little Casey, she's still growing, and she started asking questions. And there's certain things a man just doesn't know. Her birthday came and you never even called. I guess we never crossed your mind at all. But then sometimes I think about you and the way you used to ride out in your rhinestones and your sequins, with the sunlight on your hair. And oh, the crowd will always love you. But as for me, I've come to know everything that glitters is not gold. Everybody said you'd make it big someday, and I guess that we were only in your way. But someday I'm sure you're gonna know the cause. Cause for everything you win, there's something lost. But oh, sometimes I think about you and the way you used to ride out in your rhinestones and your sequins, with the sunlight on your hair. And oh, the crowd will always love you. But as for me, I've come to know everything that glitters is not gold. Oh, everything that glitters is not gold.
All right, one that you might want to try. I'm going to try it out real quick. You might want to check out this one. I guess I'll put it here, right here. Has anybody been able to complete this one yet? I forgot to fork it. Has anybody been able to complete this one, to get anything to run on your machine? Has anybody been able to get anything to run on your machine? Compile and run. All right, we got at least one where people have it happening. All right, I'm going to give y'all just another minute. You can try the one that I sent you, or you can try this Hello World one that it looks like Tony is using. Like we got an Android one.
Very quickly. Yeah, I'll watch what you say. Because I wanted to wait. So
Cool. All right, we're getting a couple here. Looks like, for instance, let's look at this together, okay? Come on back. Let's look at this together so we can have time to do at least one more. Here's one. This is Quang. He's using Bandicam for those of you that don't have a good way of recording your screen yet. So bandicam.com. It looks like what he's using, which is great. Maybe Quang, you might want to put your resolution just slightly higher. But you know, otherwise this is perfect. So check out. I'm gonna show you what he does.
very quickly.
Oh, never mind. That might have been my bandwidth. Maybe it's okay. He's getting the URL right now, and he is about to type git clone that URL. All right, and so he does that. So he's not using a UI for Git. He's just using the command line, which is totally fine. And he's going to download that repository. You can see it's being downloaded now. And then he's going to try and run the project. And he runs it, and then he realizes, oh, I need to go down into that directory first. He goes down into that directory, and then he runs it. And then he kills somebody in Hangman. Okay? So this is perfect in that, like, I get that he got it from somewhere, he brought it to his computer, and then he showed me it running. Now, both of us, Quang and me included, I forgot to fork it. I don't think he forked it either. If you had written directions, you would need to remember to fork it, but this is exactly the kind of thing that I was looking for. Great job knowing what you're doing. All right, let's go back. Oops. And any questions on that? I'm opening back up the, Minty, are there any questions on that particular question? Do you understand that one? Any questions on that one? Remember, I would be given written things, so it would be less ambiguous, of course. What you need to. So for this one, do we need to show it's on our computer after we pull it? It's best if we can tell if it's on your computer. We have different ways of checking for cheating. So as long as you're not cheating, you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff too much. Like, for instance, his, it had his name in the terminal, and there are some other clues there that it's his. So we'll put explicit directions on how to kind of prove it's your own computer. But, as long as you're not cheating, you don't have to worry about that too much, that part of the things. So just don't worry about it too much. Just don't cheat, and you won't have to worry about it. If you do cheat, I want you to know that a video has lots of forensics for me to figure out how you cheated or what you were doing. Somebody asked, I would spaz if you ask us to do that. And that's why we're doing this practice. I get that 100%. Like, it's hard to find a project quickly. But that's why we are practicing, because you need to get good, like with Git, and you need to be able to do Git under fire. Like, in a pressure situation, you should be able to use Git. Not a high pressure, because remember, this is just basic competence test, but pressure nonetheless. Somebody ask, did we need to show the cloning? You said compiling, running, and where it is. Yeah, it would be good in this case to show the cloning too. However, remember, this is a practice run, and I didn't write anything down, so normally you'll have written instructions, and you can know exactly what I want you to show. Don't worry about that too much here. Fork. Somebody's asking, how do I fork a random project? Well, you better figure that out by next Monday. I don't know what to tell you. You need to figure out how to fork something on GitHub by next Monday. It's not hard, but figure it out. Somebody's asking, what is the best way to show that we forked a program? That's easy. You can just show that, like when you get in the URL, it will show that the repository is now owned by you. So that's how you could show that it was forked. Forked version is owned by you. Somebody's asking, on Friday, are we doing Coding Friday or doing more review? You were doing neither of these things on Friday. We all have a day off, so you guys, I would recommend going through that list of things and just practicing them, or just playing frisbee. Whatever you want to do on your day off, it's up to you. Somebody's asking if we could do that one. If we do that one, could you give a repo to clone? Maybe, maybe not. You'll know Monday. Somebody's asking, so we don't need to fork a program if we get cloned through the terminal? No, that's incorrect. Sorry, Quang and myself both did not fork as far as I could tell. He might have forked and maybe I just missed it, but he didn't show us the forking process. If I had written directions, it would be very clear, hey, you got to fork first, then do the clone, okay? It's up for y'all to figure out how to do a fork, though. Okay, Quang saying he's forgot to do it. I also forgot to do it when I was looking into it, so. But that's something that you would need to do. Great question so far. All right. Let's see. What else could we do? What else could we do? Y'all giving Quang a hard time, even though he clearly knows what he's doing. How about we... What else could... How about y'all... I don't know. Does anybody pick? So y'all pick one, and I'll give you an example question on it. Y'all pick one that you want to see done. How about that? Pick one of these out of this list that you are confused about, and then we can do it together, and y'all be less confused. All right, I see 2 people saying code review. One person saying unit test. Anybody else? Last one is an Xfig one, which is similar to what we already did, so I'm not going to do another one of those. All right, people are saying code review. Cool, let's do that. All right. Here I am in the IRC crowd Android project. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and fork this so I can mess around with it. Logged in. All right, so I have my own copy of this project. I'm going to hit source. I'm going to go in here and start looking at some of this code. And let's say I want to look at the color scheme. Okay. Very interesting. Did that. Let's say I want to look at the HTTP fetcher. Like it could have some interesting stuff. All right. What I want y'all to do, I'm going to put this file here in the chat. I want y'all to look at this file and tell me one thing that you would change about it and why. Look at this file. Tell me one thing that you would change about it and why. This is going to be hard because this is a file from like a real project and it looks like a pretty good project. But I want you to just look at this file, look at the style and whatnot, and tell me if there's anything that you think is like hard to understand. And you can either provide me with updated code or like a sentence description of what you would change or whatever. But look at this code and tell me what you might change about it to make it better. Just one thing, and I want you to put that in Slack. Okay, so I'm going to give y'all just a minute or two to do that. I'm going to be looking at it too, and then we'll regroup here afterwards. So I'm going to give y'all just a minute. Here's a song to chill out with, and then we are going to come back and talk about it.
I had an uncle named Matthew. He was his father's only boy. Born just south of Colby, Kansas. He was his mother's pride and joy. Yes, and joy was just the thing that he was raised on. Love was just a way to live and die. Gold was just a windy Kansas wheat field. Blue was just a Kansas summer sky. And all the stories that he told me back when I was just a lad, all the memories that he gave me, and all the good times that he had. Growing up a Kansas farm boy, life was mostly having fun. Riding on his daddy's shoulders, behind a mule beneath the sun. Yes, and joy was just the thing that he was raised on. Love was just a way to live and die. Gold was just a windy Kansas wheat field. Blue was just a Kansas summer sky. Well, I guess there were some hard times, and I'm told some years of lean. They had a storm in 47. A twister came and stripped them clean. He lost the farm, he lost his family. He lost the wheat, he lost his home. But he found the family Bible. Faith is solid as a stone. Yes, and joy was just the thing that he was raised on. Love was just a way to live and die. Gold was just a windy Kansas wheat field. Blue was just a Kansas summer sky. So he came to live at our house, and he came to work the land. He came to ease my daddy's burden, and he came to be my friend. So I wrote this down for Matthew, and it's for him this song is sung. Riding on his daddy's shoulders, behind a mule beneath the sun. Yes, and joy was just the thing that he was raised on. Love was just a way to live and die. Gold was just a windy Kansas wheat field. Blue was just a Kansas summer sky. Yes, and joy was just the thing that he was raised on. Love was just a way to live and die. Gold was just a windy Kansas wheat field. Blue was just a Kansas summer sky.
All right, let's talk about this. I see a lot of comments here that y'all have put. Yeah, so let's talk about this because I think y'all are not as much on task as what I would want. What I would like to see here, you have a point with the comments. I like that direction, but I think perhaps your approach is maybe not ideal. So, for instance, uh, here is a bunch of code that you may consider like commenting on, right? Like it's clear that this is we're running, we're starting the log, we're creating a socket, we're connecting to the socket. Then there's this idea of like it looks like initializing the socket and handling some things, closing the socket. I wonder if this could benefit from comments, but also could benefit from being maybe a separate method, okay? So what we're trying to do is make the code more readable by chunking it. Chunking it is just like you know how your phone numbers are used, or we don't use them as much anymore, but they used to be like area code is 3, whatever the next thing is 3, and then there's 4. So 3, 3, 4. We kind of chunk that one 10-digit number or 9-digit number into 3 different things. By doing that, we help make it easier to remember, right? Instead of remembering 10 digits, you can remember 3, 3, and 4, right? So that is something I would look for an opportunity. Now, this is a harder to understand than I would normally use on a test thing, but that's the kind of thing I would look for is like, hey, where can we kind of chunk these methods into, pieces so that they're easier to understand, okay? And give them a meaningful name. It's a lot like doing comments, but it is something that is better than comments, in my opinion, because it also chunks them into a method. This method does this. This method does this. For instance, you could do exactly what I'm talking about, like right here. You could make this the read HTTP response status line method. You could make this the read HTTP response header method, okay? And then you would have those 2 things kind of chunked out into methods, and it would be easier, way easier to read this code because it wouldn't just be detail, 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 detail. It would just be like one method, another method call, and then some stuff at the beginning, right? And you could chunk these things into like a logging method, like log beginning, and then you would only have like a 4-line method in the end. So for code review, this is a much harder file than we would normally look at. But what I'm looking for is you just to have a sense of how to make the code easier for the next person to read. And this is really pushing your boundaries. This is something that we haven't talked as much about as some other things, but it's something that I just want you to be aware of and know how to do, is giving people feedback on their code to make it better. On a test situation, you would probably be making comments. Like maybe there would be a document or something and you would make comments like, hey, I would take these 3 things and put them in a method together because they're related. And I would take this chunk of code and put it in a method together because they're related, and replace it with a method call. So it would be, you wouldn't actually make the changes, but you would have a facility to help you talk about them. All right, that's all we have time for today, but hopefully you get the idea of kind of the scope of the questions. Remember, there's only 4 of them. They come directly from this list, and you need to practice. If I were you, I'd just practice this entire list. If you can do all of these things in this list in under 15 minutes each, you will almost certainly get an A on this exam. If you cannot, you will almost certainly not get an A on this exam. So, this is a very straightforward exam. There's no tricks. Just be able to do the things on this list and you will get an A. Okay, I'm going to open it up for questions in Menti so that I don't miss any. So if you have questions, put them in Menti and I will answer them. Otherwise, that's it for today. Good luck on Monday. Enjoy your Friday, and I will see y'all on Monday for the exam. Of course, I won't be broadcasting. I will just be sitting here and answering questions on Slack. But I will see y'all on Monday. If you have questions, put them right here on Menti. Otherwise, I will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend and don't stress out too much. You're going to make it through. This should be one of your last midterms. A straightforward one. Somebody's asking for the compiling Android project. Will we need to use the emulator? Yeah, well, for compilation, you don't need to use an emulator. If you're going to have to run it, which you may, you'll need to use either emulator or Android phone. So make sure that you have access to one of those. You can always use an older emulator if you need. So somebody's asking, so code review is more about readability and ease of access than actual tangible features. Yeah, definitely more about readability than anything. It's about making it easier to read for the next person that looks at your code. That's what code review is all about. Of course, in code review, you might look for many things. We're going to go over that again in the future, but for the purpose of this test, it's all about making the code more readable. Yes, so somebody's asking, can you provide detailed instructions for the exam questions so we know what to do versus assuming one thing and doing it wrong? Yes, yes, yes. The exam questions have pretty clear and detailed instructions. I don't think that you will ever get these exam questions wrong because of the instructions. I will double check them, even though I've already tried to be clear. I'll double check them again to make sure they're clear. Somebody's saying it's my birthday today. Happy birthday. It is the 20th, Wednesday, the 20th of October. I hope you have a great birthday. Maybe Friday when you have off from school, you'll have lots of time to celebrate. Happy birthday. Have a great one. Happy birthday. Somebody's asking what kind of stuff on Replit? Just kind of a cryptic question, but I'll try and answer it. On Replit, it's going to be just like the Coding Fridays, okay? Just like we've been doing, make a change, look at the README, make a change, and tell me what you changed or show me a video of it running. It's going to be very straightforward, just like we've been doing every Friday on Replit. No surprises there. All right, looks like we're running out of questions. I'll give you another couple seconds, but otherwise, I will see y'all on Monday. Somebody's asking, do you care if OBS videos have the infinite screen display at the start? No, I do not. That is totally fine. You should process your videos as little as possible. I actually absolutely agree. Just make them very simply and don't worry about editing them. Don't worry if you're coughing during them, whatever. Just upload your videos as is. Excellent question. All right. I hope you all have a great weekend and I will see you on Monday. Take it easy.